I write for Punch Drunk Critics, and I saw your movie last night and absolutely was so surprised and loved it so much. So thank
Great.
you for making it. So you've worked with Edie Falco before on Tommy, and then obviously on Nurse Jackie. What was it like working with her again?
It's like when for me, it was like, you call up an old friend and you meet him out and you kind of just pick up the old stories where you were and keep moving forward. Like it was, I mean, she's such a pleasure. She's a not just a fabulous actress. She's also kind of like that in real life. She's just kind of a
Yeah.
really good person, class act. And when we would sit and talk to each other, uh, we just get it. We just get each other's kind of vibe and how like we work together. And there was something really cool, our shorthand like comes back very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Is it different working with her on a film rather than working on a television set? Because I feel like it's probably, I mean, it's a smaller budget, so I guess it is just as fast paced.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's any different. I think she kind of carries herself the way she's going to carry herself on, I would say anything. Uh, so yes, it was very fast paced. It was a small budget. It was a quarter of an episode of Nurse Jackie, probably. um, but it was great. I mean, there were times that she would just literally sit on a curb of the street, and we'd be like, do you need a chair? We have chairs." She's like, "No, I like to sit on the ground." She's like, "It grounds me," and I'm like,
You know what? I
"Okay."
bet it does. That's the thing. I bet it would. One thing I absolutely loved about this film is that every actor, no matter the part, kind of gets their time to shine. I'm thinking about specifically Jack Mulhern's scene at the doctor's appointment, and he's talking to Wanda, and Wanda's like, "Well, why do you want to have so much sex with my pregnant daughter?" And he goes, "Actually, I don't. I just don't want her to leave me and get upset." Um, uh, Talk to me about rounding out this cast and finding those moments. Was that like intentional?
I mean, uh, Jack Mulhern is like a dream.
So good. Yeah.
Sent from everywhere. I mean, the cast is amazing. A producer friend who was a former casting director at the time. Ross Meyerson was a partner on this film, so he was a producer and he also casted, and he was the casting director on Nurse Jackie. So, I mean, he definitely was like, so at times it was always just about like who wants to do this film, and a lot of it had to do with who wants to work with Edie. Um,
Everyone. Uh,
Bradley Whitford had the best line I say was he said he showed up on set and I was like, I'm so thank you that you're here. And he was like, I would do lawn work for Edie Falco. And she would hate that I'm saying that. Like she's very such a humble person and doesn't, uh she kind of just doesn't live that way. So but casting wise, Ross was a huge part of kind of figuring out the right people with me and ICM at the time, which is now CAA, was a big part of kind of putting up the right people and us kind of having real discussions on what really works. And Edie was, um, you know, had kind of very, she had worked with Charlie before. I had loved Charlie on Ozark. Um, which is totally different.
totally
It's
different
not
vibe.
like, oh yeah, that like serious dark show. Like, sure, let's have them be funny. And I believe that everybody can do anything. Like, I'm always like, when you watch TV or movies, like, do you watch one genre? Like,
No.
I hate when people get, I constantly get, this kind of like director box. People always like, oh, you're a dramedy guy or you're a, half hour comedy. And this is so it was great to see like Charlie come in and do his thing, and Kaylee come in and kind of
Oh,
steal seats
yeah.
here and there, and everybody play. I mean, I just, Michael Rappaport, uh, he said to me, like, we were talking, and I was like, well, look, he was like, I think that's too Michael Rappaport. Like, I think this guy's sweet. And I was like, you're right. This guy is sweet. I was like, and so go for it. And like,
Yeah.
he showed me this thing that was like, look at sweet little Michael Rappaport. No one's ever said that.
No,
Like,
not at all. Um, I have to talk about the music in this film, because I feel like often a lot of smaller films have music that don't really fit it. I feel like the music's either very loud and big and melodramatic, or it's too understated. Your soundtrack in this feels so warm and lived in and true to life. Can you talk a little bit about like how that sound came about? Because it's a very like folksy Americana town kind of vibe.
yes, I would love to. This is a question I haven't had at all today, and I
Good.
love. So Found Objects was our music supervision. A woman named Kat there was like great at kind of getting that first song with Brittany Howard, and I got to talk to Brittany Howard one day, and she was like, "I'm a huge Edie Falco fan." I was like, thank you for not gouging us on the price for that song." And James Wrighton, who was the composer, who basically did every other did most of the music work in this film and played a lot of it himself. He, really kind of loved the film. When we sent it to him, the editor Aaron Orton and I have like kind of baked in this kind of soul. I wanted this kind of soul bluegrass kind of feel to things.
Mhm.
And I think that was just kind of placing heart in things, having it like I wanted it to feel warm, but I didn't want it to feel too like vibrantly, poppy,
Yeah.
and having it feel like there's a heart and soul behind things. And I think that was the main kind of focus. We referenced The Commitments a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Irish film. I'm Irish, so I was with a film that I loved when I was a kid. And so it was just kind of like, okay, let's infuse some soul. Like there's a guitar behind most of things. It's totally not the music that I kind of tend to play or listen to all the time. I mean, I do listen to a lot of soul, but like there was just, it kind of drove itself, the film. Um, and the last track, which was something that James had put together, like I forget what it was. It was a big track. I mean, there was times when I put these big, huge tracks in and the producers wanted to kill me, and I was like, it's just the feeling.
Yeah.
I think it was like the Four Tops or something I put at the end, and he created that final song with and we found this singer, Mark Broussard, who really, when you listen to that final song, like that's an original song. It's so cool. Like I listen to it in my car now. And James, came to New York, and he got a couple people together, and they just like played every instrument bit by bit. And it was just something really kind of fun about building the sound of this film. So I'm a super fan of the soundtrack of this film. So I appreciate you noticing.
Well, when something's right, I feel like you notice it, and when something's wrong, I feel like you notice it. And this was definitely right. So that's why I had to say something. I need to talk about the queer elements of this story. Wanda sees both a man and a woman in this film, the latter of which seems to be a rather new development in her life. It's really refreshing to see that in a middle-aged mom, see that come about in a middle-aged mom. But you don't feel like you need to define this woman sexually by her sexuality either, right? This isn't like a coming out later in life story. This is literally 3 days in Wanda's life. So how did you approach that storyline as a director?
I think I approached it like how life actually is. And I said, because I haven't been asked this specific question, but people have brought it up. They're like, what about this? And I was like, that's life.
Yeah.
Like, want to try things, and people want to like, this one, someone's queer, someone's gay, like, it's 2024.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have to define anybody. Like, it doesn't have to like be the thing that we talk about for the whole movie. It doesn't have to be the reason to go watch the movie. It just is like, yeah, like, so it was almost like, I just don't like preachy movies. And so I like to be like, and I'm sure somebody's gonna tell me to pick a lane, and that's a problem, and I should preach from the mountaintops. But I just would like everybody to kind of slip into a message or be entertained by a film. And there was like, I never really had a question about it when I read the script. Like, I was like, yeah, totally. Like, this
is her life. Yeah.
Trying a thing, or she does like it and she doesn't, and it doesn't really matter. Like, that's not the point. Like, it's just like, okay, we'll keep, that Edie and Sepida, who played her a girlfriend, I guess we could call it. They were just really good at like having it feel like a real thing that doesn't have a lot of weight behind it.
That's great. That's awesome. I'm sure you're screening this film quite a bit. I know it was on the festival circuit for a moment. How many people come up to you and say, Wanda's like my own mom? Because I was having flashbacks watching it.
Everybody. I mean, I hope that people see that they're all a little like, everybody should feel a little bit of somebody in this film. Like, I'm a little Wanda and I'm a little Henry.
Yeah.
A lot of moms came up to me. I mean, I wanted this to be, if I had my druthers, I'd go back and say, get this film out by Mother's Day. And a lot of moms have come up and was like, I know, it's just like, this is what you do. I mean, there's a line in the film, and I didn't even realize it. I was talking to Edie the other day, and we repeated the line without even knowing we repeated the line. It was like, this is what you do for your kids. It's just what you do.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Here's all the money. All right, let me pick you up. Let me take you here. Okay. All right. Yeah, I know it didn't work out that way, but that's life, So
awesome. Well, congratulations on the film. It's absolutely brilliant. And I look forward to seeing what you do next.
Oh, thank you so much for getting it to your audiences and getting it out there. It's a small film that we really, really are proud of. And we're so happy that Brainstorm and Universal are kind of pushing to get this out there. So thank you for sharing it.
Of course.
Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.